After years of struggling and slowly improving, I realized that learning English is not about being born talented. It's about building small habits that stay. So let me share with you what truly worked for me, and what I now teach my students who once felt the same fear I did. It all began when I stopped studying English as a subject and started living it as a language. At first, I thought grammar was everything. I used to spend hours memorizing rules, past tense, present perfect, reported speech, and yet, when I tried to talk to someone, my mind went blank. I knew the rules, but I couldn't feel them. Then one day, my teacher said something I'll never forget. You don't learn to swim by reading a book. You learn by getting into the water. That was the moment I realized I needed to stop worrying about being perfect and just start speaking. So I began small. Every morning, I would look into the mirror and talk to myself in English. Simple things like, "Good morning. Today I will study hard." Or, "I feel tired, but I'm ready to learn." At first, it felt strange, even silly. But over time, those small sentences became the foundation of my fluency. When I teach now, I tell my students the same thing. Talk to yourself. Your mirror will never judge you. One of my students, Lena, struggled with speaking just like I did. She told me she was afraid people would laugh at her accent. I asked her to try a 5-minute mirror challenge every day, speaking to herself in English about her plans, her dreams, or even her breakfast. After 2 weeks, she sent me a voice note proudly saying, "Teacher, I'm not afraid anymore." Her grammar wasn't perfect, but her confidence was shining. That's when I knew practice is not about perfection. It's about courage. Next, I learned the power of listening. In the beginning, I only listened to English to test myself, to see what I didn't understand. But then I changed my mindset. I started listening just to enjoy. I listened to podcasts while walking, to songs while cleaning, and to short English stories before bed. Even when I didn't understand every word, I let the rhythm and sound sink in. Slowly, my ears adjusted. I began to notice patterns. How native speakers say gonna, wanna, or kinda. I remember a beautiful moment. One night while listening to an English story, I suddenly understood a whole sentence without translation. I smiled quietly, realizing something magical. My brain was starting to think in English. That was one of the proudest moments of my journey. Another key method that changed everything for me was shadowing. It's simple but powerful. You listen to a short English clip, maybe a movie line or a short speech, and then repeat it at the same time, copying the speaker's rhythm and tone. I used to do this every evening with my favorite TED Talks. The first few times, my mouth couldn't keep up. But after a few weeks, my pronunciation, my tone, and even my confidence transformed. It felt like my tongue finally learned to dance with the language. One of my favorite shadowing stories is about my student Ravi. He used to speak English in a flat tone, afraid to sound dramatic. I told him to pick one movie monologue. He chose The Pursuit of Happiness. Every night he practiced it line by line. After a month, he came to class and said that speech aloud. His voice was full of emotion. Everyone clapped. And I told him, "See? English is not just words, it's music." Next came something I wish I had learned earlier: vocabulary in context. I used to memorize endless word lists, 50 new words a day. But when I needed to use them, I forgot. Then I realized words are like people. You remember them when you have a relationship with them. So I started learning words in real situations. If I learned boil, I'd use it while cooking. I'm boiling some water. If I learned borrow, I'd say, "Can I borrow your pen, please?" If I learned improve, I'd tell myself, "I'm improving every day." Suddenly, the words stayed, not in my notebook, but in my life. Now, I teach my students to do the same. One student, Amina, told me she was tired of forgetting new words. I asked her, "What's your favorite hobby?" She said, "Cooking." So I told her, "Then learn English through recipes." A week later, she came back excited, saying, "Teacher, now I can say chop, stir, pour, and bake." She wasn't just learning English, she was living it. Then, of course, there was fear. Fear was my biggest enemy. It whispered, "You're not good enough. People will laugh at you." But here's what I learned. Fear fades when you face it. Once I joined an online English speaking club. My hands were sweating as I turned on my microphone for the first time. I said, "Hello, my name is..." and paused. For a moment, I wanted to leave the meeting. But the teacher smiled and said, "Take your time." I spoke slowly, making mistakes, but I finished. The group clapped. That small moment gave me more confidence than months of silent study. Now, I always tell my students, you don't need to wait until you're ready to speak. Speaking is what makes you ready. Another powerful method that helped me was journaling. Every night before bed, I wrote a few lines about my day in English, how I felt, what I did, what I learned. At first, it was just a few sentences. But as the days passed, my writing grew more natural. Writing taught me to think in English clearly, to organize my thoughts, to express my emotions. Sometimes I look back at my old journals, full of mistakes, and I smile, because every mistake was a step forward. Over time, I began to notice a transformation, not only in my English, but in myself. I became more confident, more open, more curious. English stopped being just a goal, it became part of my identity. Now, when I meet new learners, I see the same fear I once had, the same doubt in their eyes. I tell them stories of my own journey. I tell them about my failures, my small victories, my tears and my laughter. I remind them that fluency is not a race. It's a rhythm, one that grows with every word you speak, every mistake you make, every moment you try again. Because fluency doesn't arrive suddenly one morning. It grows quietly, in your kitchen when you talk to yourself, in your walks when you listen to English podcasts, in your notebook when you write about your day, in your heart when you decide not to give up. And someday, just like me, You'll wake up and realize you've been speaking English confidently all along. So keep going, my friend. Learn a little every day. Speak even when your voice shakes. Listen with curiosity, not pressure. Celebrate your small victories. Smile at your mistakes, because every word you learn is a small piece of your future. A future where you can travel freely, connect deeply, and express yourself fully. And when that day comes, when you realize you've gone from zero to fluency, I hope you look back and whisper, "It was all worth it."